Some of y'all got 9-year-old, 12-year-old kids that have been listening to me for 8 years. Your child has been listening to a college professor for 8 years. Do you know what kind of advantage they're going to have in life? Right? I've seen your wealth rise as a result of this. I've seen people go to the All Black National Convention and meet their spouse. I've seen progress. That's what I'm saying, right? I've seen areas where you can't say that a typical B1 person who's been hanging out in this space for a while and implementing even 10% of what we talked about, they probably don't have a bad life. I know that your average income, for example, when we take our surveys, you guys make more money than most white people. You are happier than a lot of people. You are working through issues in your family. You have annihilated more generational curses than most people, right? And let's not even talk about your wealth in your bank account. Y'all are acquiring real estate. You're starting businesses. You're invested in stocks. So to me, that's what I want. That's what I like to see. And the question would be, where how do we focus on the result? Are we looking at the result? If we're looking at the result and just saying, okay, I'm not caught up in how I feel about you or whether I agree with you or whether I think your hairline is too small or whatever, or I think you're too loud or whatever. Can you help me to achieve the goal? And I think the reason that people don't achieve the goal is because they don't even know what the goal is. They don't even know the goal is. I think that black complacency becomes our number one enemy. We are so used to blackness being associated with disorganization, chaos, and a lack of productivity that people don't. If you say, well, what's the fine? What are you actually accomplishing, and what measuring stick are you using to show that you're achieving the goal? A lot of people don't can't even tell you. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna get up in the morning and yell, scream, and pray, and complain about white people, and then I'm going to go to bed. That's not a strategy. That's not a plan. What is your plan? What is your plan? So if you have a family, I'm gonna leave you on this point. If you have a family, I encourage you to sit down and think about your plan in a couple of ways, right? Start with yourself. Right? What is your plan for yourself? And focus on those three key areas: health, wealth, and relationships. Where am I going to improve in those three areas, and what does improvement actually look like? Then go with your family. What does it mean to have a healthy family? What does it mean to have a wealthy family? What does it mean to have a family where we're communicating and connecting and loving each other in the right way? Maybe you're picking a partner. Maybe you're still in that dating stage. What should that look like, right? And then what would it look like if it's done in a way that's going to make my life better at the end, right? I think if you do that, I think you can win. I really do. I think America is an unfair country. America is a country that has lots of systemic problems. America is a country that has more issues than I can count. But also, America is a country where if an individual and small group of people are committed to improving their lives, there is plenty of opportunity to do that. And I hope that you agree with me on that enough that you'll implement that in your life, right? So start by investing. So I mentioned a couple stocks earlier. I told you I'm buying Apple, I'm buying Amazon. Well, I bought that this morning, so I'm not. I think I allocated all my money, but for the most part, I'm a big believer in that. I think Apple's going to make some moves. So if they make a move, I'll follow up and talk to you guys about what happened. And so feel free to take a look. Okay, so last couple things. Number one, I sent you all a link to join. I have something called Money in a Minute, where you can learn stock options with 2 minutes a day, where literally each day I send you a text that has some sort of lesson you can consume in a couple of minutes that will move you forward in stock options.